Can Pat Freiermuth be a wide receiver number 2? Well, the first thing that I would say is let's dive into and talk about the difference between being a wide receiver number 2 and an option 2. Because I believe that obviously he can be the second option on this team. And look, a lot of teams do it. You don't just have to have the wide receiver number 2 and make that be the second passing option. There are plenty of teams around the league that do it exactly that way. And I think Pat Freiermuth has the skill set to be able to do that. I really think he does. When he's at his best, he can be the second option on what the Steelers are looking to do when they throw the football. So this need and this thirst to go out and find this big time second receiver and giving up draft capital and then having to spend a ton of money. I'm not saying that's still not an option. What I'm saying is Pat Freiermuth can be the second option while we still have a competent number 2 receiver. So keep that in mind. Now, one thing is Pat's got to be healthy. Look, I mean, that nothing can be done if he can't stay healthy. And then we saw a lot of that last year. It was unfortunate. Him not being able to stay healthy. Again, you don't blame guys for not being healthy or for being hurt. You can't just blame them for that. Nobody wants to be hurt. But, the old saying goes, the best ability is availability. So to be that second option, that's something that he's going to have to try to get under control the best he can, which I'm sure he is. Don't get me wrong. Like I mentioned before, nobody wants to get hurt. But yeah, he's going to have to try to stay healthy. And looking at the offense and what we're going to put around him in Arthur Smith, they feature tight ends. So Pat Freiermuth, for him to do his thing and be that second option, it's not a question on whether Arthur Smith will give him the opportunity. I mean, just take a look at this chart here, and what look like a guy like Delaney Walker did. I mean, yes, tight ends are featured so many of these years in Tennessee. And this is when Arthur Smith got into the Tennessee, the tight end room there. He featured the tight ends. They became a big part of what they did. I'm not saying this is all when he was the offensive coordinator, because he wasn't the offensive coordinator that long, but he was in the tight end room. That's where he started in Tennessee. And look what they did. Yeah. I mean, so you can do some damage in an Arthur Smith offense. He knows how valuable a tight end is. Pat Freiermuth is that good. He can be that good if given the ability. I don't even want to go down the road of talking about previous regimes and previous offensive coordinators and what they didn't do. We could have an entire show. We could probably have an entire month of shows talking about what Matt Canada didn't do. We don't want to go down that road. It gives us all Steeler fans PTSD. We don't need to do that. So Arthur Smith absolutely will feature a tight end, and Pat Freiermuth can be that. Now, another thing that we have to do is we got to extend him this year. I just think we got to extend him and get that over with, I believe, before the season starts. There's a certain number of guys on the team this year that we can take a look at before the season starts to extend. If we're being honest, the only one that I would do would be Pat Freiermuth. I'm not doing Cam Hayward. There's all this talk about, Najee possibly getting a deal when we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. I don't think there's any way that they're going to extend him before the season when you wouldn't pick up the 5th year. So those crazy rumors out there are silly, but Pat Freiermuth is not. And if you want him to be around long term, which I'm pretty sure the Steelers want him to be around because he's proven to be that good, I think you go ahead and you extend him. So let's take a look at this poll. Pat Freiermuth. Looking at it, PFF has Pat Freiermuth as the 15th best tight end this season. Do you think that he has a breakout season under Arthur Smith? So do you think that Pat Freiermuth can have a breakout season and get higher than that 15 that PFF has him ranked him on? I know a lot of people don't like PFF. I'm not a guy that is in love with Pro Football Focus, but they do a lot of good things over there, and it is a good metric. So please leave your answers in the comments on what you think Pat Freiermuth will be able to do under this Arthur Smith offense. Let's move on here.